all of the upcoming freshmen this high school year, you're cooked. You're like very cooked. Your grades, they're going to plummet. Your mental health, it probably will also plummet. Your teachers are going to be a lot more stricter. You're going to have so much work to do. I don't know how I made it out alive. I mean, it's not even the worst year of high school. Junior year is literally doing exams and preparing for college. If I'm going to be honest with y'all, half the reason why my freshman year was so bad was because I went into it thinking it was going to be easy. I'm not gatekeeping. I will be telling you everything you need to know, from your academics to social life advice to even stuff about your mentality throughout the entire school year. So sit back, relax, I don't know, get a little snack if you want, because this is going to be the last little bit of freedom you're going to get before the school year starts. To start off with the most important piece of advice, or like the most valuable piece of advice I would give to anyone, especially if they're entering high school. Your mental health is the most important thing and like the most valuable thing you need to prioritize this entire year. And even throughout your years of high school, it is the most important thing. I can't stress this enough. No grade, no award is worth sacrificing your mental health over. In high school, there's always this mentality that you need to keep on pushing yourself to the limit, that you're supposed to do so many different courses, that you're supposed to challenge yourself. And while challenging yourself is important, it shouldn't like take you to the breaking point. You're gonna have good days and bad days, and that's completely normal. It's okay to have days where you're not like at your 100%, and it's okay to have days where you're not productive. When you do have a day when you feel great, I would recommend try to make the most of it. And most importantly, make sure you have people you can talk to. Make sure you have a support system that you can almost vent to, because it kind of shows you that, especially during your high school year, that you're not alone and a lot of people are going through similar struggles as you. Just always keep on checking in with yourself and see how you're doing. And if you feel that you need to get help, then you should always go and get help. Now we're moving on to general academics. At this point, you would have probably already picked your classes and stuff, but in future years, if you're the type to challenge yourself, make sure you get at least one class or elective that you can just relax in. That doesn't mean a class you can slack off in, but maybe it's on a topic that you're really interested in. Having a class like this gives you something to look forward to during your time in school, and it gives you to put in more effort throughout your school year. And once you start getting homework, once you start getting like work throughout the year, make sure you write down every single upcoming assignment and deadline so nothing slips through the cracks, so that a missing assignment is not the reason why your grade is being pulled down. Especially these small things can eventually add up. Now, for most people, the hardest part about actually doing any work in high school is starting the studying in the first place. If you have a test or an assignment that you need to be doing and you just can't put yourself to do it, find something that makes you excited to do the studying in the first place. Like, find little ways to romanticize doing all of this. Like, for example, while you're studying, you can make some tea, you can play your favorite music, you can create an environment that's enjoyable to work in, so you actually feel good while you're doing the working. Now, as all of these things add up, it's important to know time management. For example, if you're given a big project due at the end of the week, make sure you don't procrastinate and put it off till the day before the due date. A project is a lot easier to do in a smaller set of time compared to, I don't know, a page of math problems. Just know when you're trying to do work in class itself, make sure you're not missing out on any important material. Then you would have more work to learn at your own time versus just learning it in class itself. One of the biggest differences between middle school and high school are AP courses and AP exams. If you plan to take any AP courses or AP exams throughout your freshman year especially, make sure you choose them carefully. Make sure the schools that you want to go to post-grad actually takes credit for the ones you're taking. and especially pay attention to prerequisite courses. A lot of schools end up not taking credit for the course that you want to take. So make sure you do a bit of research on that before you finalize any decisions. Also, be really cautious when picking an AP course just because it's easy. What's easy for some people isn't easy for everyone. Also note, for AP exams, if the distribution shows more people get a higher score on it, just note that it doesn't necessarily mean more people taking the class end up getting better scores on it. It could just be representative of the type of people taking the course. Like, it may say 50% of people pass the AP physics exam, but I can guarantee there is a higher level of entry compared to a lot of other different courses. Alright, now after all that studying, it comes to the actual exam itself. Please avoid cramming. If you don't understand something, learn it as soon as possible, and don't be afraid to ask for questions or come in for a little bit of extra help. You won't regret it. Once you find out something is not talking to you, make sure you end up learning that information as soon as possible. Otherwise, everything will just keep piling and piling up. To avoid this, study a little each day so you're not scrambling the night before a test. And for your AP exams, make sure you have at least a month of review before you take the test. At the end of the day, what really only matters when it comes to AP exams is whether you get the credit or not. Even if you don't get credit on an AP exam, it's not the end of the world, because colleges will look into your actual class grade and a whole bunch of other factors, and getting a 1 low score on an AP exam will not completely terminate every single chance of you getting into a good college. Extracurriculars are a great way to explore your interests and expand your horizons. Don't overwhelm yourself with extracurriculars just because you think it'll look good on college apps. Pick 2 or 3 that you feel that you'll do great in and you feel that you'll have fun in. Extracurriculars are, in my opinion, the best way to meet new people and to get friends in high school. For example, if you are working on the play or the musical, you're going to be seeing the same people for at least 3 months, if not more. Usually during clubs and stuff, you meet at a regular schedule. Therefore, you'll be seeing people more often and more regularly. Also, when it comes to extracurriculars, don't really confine yourself to a box just because you think it'll work well with you. For example, if you are a really STEM-oriented person, yet you want to join orchestra, go join orchestra. You still shouldn't forget that you can still do clubs just for the pure enjoyment of it. You don't have to monetize it or turn it into a career. Sports and athletics, in my opinion, kind of function a little bit different compared to other extracurriculars like clubs and all. And I am the worst person to talk about athletics and sports in high school. But I've asked some of my friends, and this is what they have to say. I will say though, it's a little bit more of a commitment doing a sport in high school compared to like a club. I would compare it to probably doing the musical or theater in high school, especially since from my experience, a lot of people who do end up doing theater, for example, they can't really take a sport during that season. As per consistency in high school, I have mixed opinions about this. On one hand, colleges do want to see you taking up something and sticking through it throughout your high school years. But if you start something, for example, in your freshman year and you feel that you don't want to do it again, drop it as soon as possible and don't just ride by it just because you want to get it over with. That's why freshman year is really good for exploration, just so you can see your interests, see what you like, and figure out the things you don't like and push that away. And also a lot of competitive clubs, especially, just note you might meet outside of school hours. That's just something to keep in mind if you feel that you're generally a very busy person and you can't handle that. Alright, this is the last and final chapter. I don't know how long I've been editing this. It's probably already like 2. Alright, this will be all about your social life in high school, or in other words, probably the lack of. Like I've mentioned before, extracurriculars are a really great place to meet new people and to meet new friends, especially since it's like forced proximity. But I feel like a lot of people can relate to not even having friends at all in high school. And that's completely normal. It's incredibly important to avoid as much conflict as possible and to be on good terms with as many people as possible. That doesn't necessarily mean be everyone's best friend, but like try to have some respect for every single person you talk to and meet. If you're in a situation where you feel like the people that you're surrounding yourself with doesn't necessarily make you feel the best inside, don't be afraid to keep distance. You don't have to force yourself to stay in a friendship where you don't feel comfortable in. Obviously, this doesn't mean start hating on them. We talked about friendships in high school, but a lot of people are interested in how romantic relationships work. And since I am also one of the worst people to ask for advice on this topic, I've also asked my friends for their opinion. So take that as you will. And lastly, it's important to have good relations with your teachers. They're there to help you academically and emotionally. And even though you may hate them for giving you so much homework on a weekend, they probably had no choice and it's just doing what administration says. Plus, they're there to do their job while we have to do ours. So that's basically it for the entire video. There is a big chance I might have missed some stuff, but hopefully you feel a little less stressed for the upcoming school year. If you have any more tips for the upcoming freshmen, put it in the comments, and I hope you all have a great day.